Captain Thomas Grant had been waking up from the same nightmare every night for 10 years. His daughter screams, a pirate ship, and then silence. But this morning, when a new slave woman was brought onto the deck, the past returned, because that woman was his daughter. This story takes place in the year 1656 on the blue waters of the Mediterranean. A story of a father, a story of loss, and maybe a story of being found again. This is the tale of Captain Thomas Grant's second chance. The trade ship Starfish had just anchored in the port of Genoa. Its captain, Thomas Grant, was 45 years old, a tall man with broad shoulders, dark brown hair, and blue eyes. Eyes that had once shined with life, but not anymore. Now there was only sadness in them. Deep, endless sadness. Thomas had been a captain for 15 years, a good captain. His crew respected him, but none of them truly knew him, because Thomas never opened up to anyone. He only worked, every day, every night, as if he were running away from something. And he was. He was running from his past. 10 years earlier, everything had been different. Thomas had been a happy man. He had his wife Sarah and his daughter, little Emily. She was 8 years old, with black hair, blue eyes, and a smile that could warm the coldest sea. Emily was his everything. That summer, Thomas was traveling with his family. They were sailing from Istanbul to Venice. Sarah wanted to see the city. Emily too. It was going to be a perfect trip. But that day, everything changed. The ship was near the coast of Greece. The weather was calm, the sea peaceful. Thomas was on deck. Sarah and Emily were in their cabin. Suddenly, a scream rang out from the lookout tower. Ship! Pirate ship! Thomas rushed for the telescope, looked, and saw it. A black-sailed pirate ship approaching fast. Alarm! Thomas shouted. Everyone to your positions! But it was too late. The pirate ship was too fast. They caught up, hooked onto the ship, climbed aboard. A battle erupted. Thomas fought with his sword. The crew fought bravely, but the pirates were too many, too brutal. Thomas ran toward the cabins. He had to save Sarah and Emily. But the door was locked. He broke it open. The room was empty. Sarah and Emily were gone. Panic surged through him. Sarah! Emily! He yelled. He ran back to the deck and saw it. Pirates dragging Sarah, dragging Emily, taking them on to the pirate ship. No! Thomas ran, but a pirate blocked him. They clashed. Thomas was wounded and fell. The last thing he saw was Emily's face, frightened, crying, looking back at him. Father! She screamed. Then the pirate ship sailed away. Gone. Lost. Thomas lay on the deck, wounded, but the pain didn't come from his body. It came from his heart. The crew treated him. The ship reached Venice. Thomas reported everything. Searches began. But Sarah and Emily were never found. Months passed. A year passed. Still nothing. 2 years later, a sailor came to Thomas. Captain, I'm sorry, but I heard that pirate ship sank in a storm. All of them died. Thomas froze. All of them? Yes, I'm sorry.
That day, the last spark of hope inside Thomas died. Sarah, Emily were gone. Forever. Thomas changed after that. He no longer smiled, no longer talked. He only worked. The ship became his entire world. The crew tried to comfort him. Captain, don't lose hope. Time heals everything. But Thomas didn't believe that. Time healed nothing. It only deepened the pain. Every night, the same nightmare. Emily's screams, the pirate ship, and then silence. Thomas woke up drenched in sweat, crying, alone, in the dark. 10 years passed like that. 10 years of pain, loneliness, regret. And then that morning came. The Starfish was in Genoa. Thomas was hiring new crew members, workers too, people to clean the deck, cook meals. There was a slave market in the harbor. Thomas went there. There were 10 slaves, mostly men, but one was a woman. Thomas saw her, and his heart stopped. She was around 18, black hair, blue eyes, tall, thin, fear on her face, yet a strange beauty too. But it was her face that struck him. That face. Thomas knew that face. Emily. His daughter, Emily? No. Impossible. Emily had been 8 when she was taken, but this woman was 18. 10 years had passed. Emily would have grown up. And the resemblance, it was overwhelming. The same eyes, the same nose, the same chin. Even a small beauty mark on her cheek, the exact one Emily had. Thomas stepped closer. The woman looked at him, but she didn't recognize him. There was no recognition in her eyes. "What's your name?" Thomas asked, his voice trembling. I don't know," the woman said, softly. "What?" Thomas froze. "I don't remember anything." Thomas stared at her. "You don't remember anything?" "No. I've had no memory for the last 5 years. I don't know where I was born, who I am, whether I had a family. I only know that I am a slave." Thomas couldn't breathe. Memory loss. If this was Emily, she remembered nothing. "I will buy her," Thomas said immediately. The slave trader looked confused. "This woman, Captain, she knows nothing. She might be—" "I said I will buy her," Thomas shouted. "How much?" 20. Thomas counted out the money, gave him 30. "Take it. She's mine now." The trader took the coins. The woman was released. Thomas looked at her. "Come to my ship. You are no longer a slave. You will work as a servant, but I will treat you well. I promise." The woman stared at him in surprise. "Thank you, sir."
"Call me Thomas. And your name, what should it be?" The woman thought for a moment. "I don't know. Would you choose for me?" Thomas hesitated. He wanted to say Emily, but he couldn't. If she wasn't his daughter, it would break him completely. "Rose," he said. "I'll call you Rose." "Rose," the woman repeated, smiling. "It's a beautiful name. Thank you." Thomas tried to smile back, but inside he was shattered. This woman, was she really Emily? Or did she just look like her? When they returned to the ship, the crew saw Rose. They were surprised. Why had the captain hired a woman? "This is Rose," Thomas said. "She will work on the ship. She will clean the cabins. And everyone will show her respect. Understood?" "Yes, Captain," the crew said. Rose was given a cabin on the ship. Small, but clean. She looked happy. "Thank you so much, Captain Thomas. You are very kind." "It's nothing," Thomas said. But inside he was thinking, if you are Emily, if you truly are my daughter, I will never lose you again. That night, Thomas couldn't sleep. He thought endlessly. Could Rose be Emily? Maybe it was all coincidence. Maybe she just resembled her. But that birthmark, the tiny mole on her cheek, Emily had it too. Same place, same shape. Thomas made a decision. He would investigate. He would learn about Rose's past. And if she truly was Emily, If she was his daughter, he would tell her. But he had to be careful. If he was wrong, he would terrify Rose. And if he was right, Emily needed to remember on her own. Telling her too early could hurt her. The next day, the ship set sail. Rose began working. She cleaned cabins, scrubbed the deck. She was hardworking, always smiling. Thomas watched her, every movement, every word. He searched for something, some sign, some memory. One day, Rose was singing a lullaby while cleaning the deck. Thomas froze. That song, Sarah's lullaby. She used to sing it to Emily every night. Thomas approached. Rose, that song, where did you learn it? Rose looked surprised. I don't know. It just came to me. Why? Nothing, Thomas said. But his heart was racing. Rose knew that lullaby. Emily knew it too. Days passed. Thomas spoke to Rose more. He asked about her life. I remember the last 5 years, slave markets, houses I worked in. But before that, it's dark. I don't remember anything. Do you ever dream about the past? Rose thought. Sometimes I see a ship, a little girl playing on the deck, a woman singing to her, and a man. I think he's the father, but I can't see their faces. Thomas's heart raced. The girl, is she you? I don't know. Maybe it's just a dream. Thomas wanted to ask more, but he didn't want to scare her. Slowly, she needed to remember, slowly. One evening, Thomas invited Rose to dinner at the captain's table. The crew was shocked. Why would the captain invite a servant? But Thomas didn't care. Rose sat down, they ate. Thomas asked about what she liked, food, colors, music. I like blue. I don't know why, but the blue of the sea gives me peace. Emily liked blue, Thomas said without thinking. Emily? Who is that? Thomas paused. Then he decided it was time to tell the truth. Rose, I need to tell you something, but please don't be afraid. What is it? Thomas took a deep breath. 10 years ago, I had a daughter. Her name was Emily. She was 8. Black hair, blue eyes, just like you. She had a small mole on her cheek, just like you. Rose touched her cheek, the mole. What happened to her? A pirate attack, Thomas said. The pirates took her, and I couldn't save her. 2 years later, I was told the pirate ship sank, that Emily died. Rose's eyes filled with tears. I'm so sorry. But, Thomas said, when I saw you, something inside me changed. Maybe Emily didn't die. Maybe she survived. Maybe she lost her memory. And maybe you are Emily. Rose was shocked. Me? Your daughter? I don't know, Thomas said, but you look just like her. Same face, same eyes, same mole. And that lullaby, Emily's lullaby, how did you know it? Rose trembled. I don't know. I don't remember. I'm not forcing you, Thomas said, but if you are my daughter, I want to know. Rose cried. I want to know too. Every day I wonder who I am, if I have a family, if someone loves me, but I can't remember anything. Thomas couldn't stand it. He pulled her into his arms. Don't cry, he whispered. If you are Emily, know that I love you. I always loved you, and every day I searched for you. Rose cried on Thomas's shoulder. For the first time in 10 years, someone held her. For the first time, someone cared. After that night, Thomas and Rose grew even closer. Thomas told her about Emily, what she liked, what she loved, how she played. She loved seashells, Thomas said. She collected them in every port, and at night she lined them up carefully. Rose smiled. I love seashells too. I don't know why, but they make me feel calm. Thomas felt hope. Maybe Rose was slowly remembering. One day, the ship was caught in a storm. Waves crashed, winds roared. Everyone ran to the deck, tying ropes, lowering sails. Rose was in her cabin. She was terrified. The ship rocked violently, objects fell. Suddenly, a wave hit the ship. Rose's cabin window shattered. Water rushed inside. She screamed. Thomas heard her. He ran, burst into the cabin. Rose was in the corner, trembling in fear. "Rose, come, it's not safe here." He reached out his hand. Rose looked at him, and in that moment, something happened. A flash, a memory. 10 years ago, a storm, a ship, and a man reaching his hand out. "Emily, come, it's not safe here." Rose froze. "Father?" she whispered. Thomas held his breath. "What did you say?" "Father, you're my father." Rose's eyes filled with tears. "I remember. The storm, the ship, the pirates, and you were my father." Thomas cried for the first time in 10 years. Emily, is it really you?" "Yes," Emily sobbed. "I'm Emily, your daughter." They embraced, they cried. 10 years of pain melted in that single hug. The storm raged on, but it no longer mattered. Father and daughter had found each other again. Then Emily began to remember everything. "The pirates, they took me and Mother. They brought us to an island. But then a storm came. The ship sank. I swam. I held on to a piece of wood. I drifted for days. Then another ship found me. They rescued me. But I had hit my head. I lost my memory. I forgot who I was." "And your mother?" Thomas asked, but he feared the answer. Emily shook her head, tears in her eyes. "I didn't see her. When the ship was sinking, I didn't see her. I think she—" "Yes," Thomas whispered, crying. "Sarah, your mother, she's gone. But you're alive, and that is a miracle." Emily clung to her father, the embrace she had missed for 10 years. Warm, safe, full of love. The storm eventually calmed. The ship was safe. Thomas and Emily came out onto the deck. The crew saw them, shocked. "Everyone," Thomas said, voice trembling with joy, "I want to introduce someone. This is not Rose. This is my daughter, Emily. I lost her 10 years ago, but God has brought her back to me." The crew stood frozen. Then they erupted, cheering, applauding. "Long live Emily! Long live the captain!" Emily smiled. For the first time in 10 years, she was truly happy. She had a family. She had a father. From that day on, Emily stayed on the ship, but she was no longer a servant. She was the captain's daughter. Thomas taught her everything: sailing, navigation, the stars. One day, Thomas said, "Maybe you'll become a captain too." Emily laughed. "Maybe, father, maybe."
Months passed. Thomas and Emily made up for the lost years. They ate together every day, told stories every night. Thomas spoke of her childhood. Emily spoke of her years in captivity. "It was hard," Emily said, "not remembering anything, not knowing who I was. But now I know. I'm Emily Grant, Captain Thomas Grant's daughter, and that is everything." Thomas's eyes filled again. "And I am the luckiest father alive because I found you." One day, the ship arrived in Venice. Thomas took Emily into the city. "Your mother and I came here once," he said. She loved it. Emily looked at the beautiful canals, bridges, colorful buildings. "Is Mother here too?" "No," Thomas said softly. "She's in the sea, but her spirit is always with us." They went to a church and lit candles. They prayed for Sarah. "Mother, I never knew you, but I love you. And Father found me. I'm safe now. I'm happy." Thomas held her hand. "Sarah, our daughter is safe.
I promise to always protect her." That night, they returned to the ship. The stars were shining, the sea was calm. "Father," Emily asked, "what happens now?" "Whatever you want," Thomas replied. "If you want, we can live on land, find a home, live a normal life." Emily thought for a moment, then smiled. "No, I love the sea. I want to stay on this ship with you." Thomas's heart warmed. "Are you sure?" "Yes, because this ship brought me back to you. This is our home." Years passed. Emily grew stronger, braver. She learned every secret of the sea. And one day, at 25, she became the captain of her own ship. Thomas was proud beyond words. "My daughter, a captain." Sarah would have been so happy. Emily hugged him. "You taught me everything, Father. I'm proud of you." When Thomas turned 60, he retired. But he stayed by Emily's side, serving as her advisor. One day, Emily married a good man, a sailor named Marcus. Thomas cried at the wedding, tears of joy. "My daughter has grown. She's a woman now. She has her own life." Emily smiled. "But I'll always be your daughter, Father. Always." A year later, Emily had a son. She named him Thomas, after his grandfather. When Thomas held his grandson for the first time, he cried again. "Sarah," he whispered, "we have a grandson, and he's beautiful." Little Thomas grew up loving the sea. He spent his days on the ship with his grandfather, listening to the story of how Emily was found, a miracle tale. "Grandfather," he once said, "you're a hero. You saved my mother." Thomas smiled. "No, I was just lucky. God gave me a second chance, and I never wasted it." At 75, Thomas became ill. The doctors said he didn't have much time. Emily stayed by his side every day. "Father, please don't leave me," she cried. Thomas held her hand. "Emily, listen, I am the happiest man alive. I found you. I spent 20 more years with you. I saw you marry. I held my grandson. What more could I ask? But I don't want to lose you." "I'm not going anywhere," he whispered. "I'll always be in your heart, just like your mother." With his last breath, Thomas smiled. "Emily, I love you. Forever." "I love you too, Father. Forever." Thomas died peacefully, holding Emily's hand. She buried him in Venice, beside Sarah. His tombstone read, "Captain Thomas Grant, a father, a hero. He found his lost daughter. He lived with love. He died in peace." Emily visited the graves every year. She brought flowers. She spoke to them. "Father, I'm fine. Your grandson is growing, brave, kind, just like you. I think of you every day." When Emily was 60, she retired. Her son became the new captain. Emily lived in a small house by the sea. Every morning, she looked at the water and remembered her father, that first day in the market, the recognition in the storm, and all of those happy years. Emily died at 82, peacefully. Her last words were, "Father, I'm coming." Her son buried her beside her parents in Venice. 3 graves, side by side. Sarah, Thomas, Emily. Together forever. Their spirits still travel the seas, in every wave, in every wind. Because true love never dies. It only changes shape.
Sarah, Thomas, Emily, together forever. Their spirits still traveled the seas, in every wave, in every wind, because true love never dies. It only changes shape. After Emily's passing, little Thomas, now in his late 30s, broad-shouldered and blue-eyed just like his grandfather, carried the legacy his family had left. He was Captain Thomas's grandson, Captain Emily's son, and the starfish, which had been maintained and rebuilt over the years, yet its soul remained the same, was his home. He was not a man who ever forgot the story of his grandfather and his mother. In every difficult voyage, when a storm broke or when they anchored in port, the tale of that miraculous finding echoed in his mind. Loss, hope, and a second chance. Whenever little Thomas visited the family grave in Venice, he didn't just place a flower on the earth, he cast one into the sea. This was a tribute to his great-grandmother, Sarah, even though he had never known her. The Great-Grandmother's Song. One day, little Thomas had a daughter of his own, whom he named Rose, after his grandfather's favorite temporary name. Rose, just like her great-grandmother Emily, had black hair and bright blue eyes. When Rose was 6, her father took her aboard the ship. One evening, as the sun was setting, little Thomas was working on the deck. Rose leaned against the polished rail, watching the sea. Suddenly, the little girl began to hum. It was the melody of a lullaby. Little Thomas froze. This was the same melody his mother Emily would sometimes hum absently, claiming she didn't know where she had learned it. Thomas knew it was the ancient melody that great-grandmother Sarah had sung to Emily, the forgotten lullaby that Emily had somehow retained despite her memory loss. Rose continued to hum in a simple, childlike voice. Little Thomas knelt beside his daughter. Tears streamed from his eyes, tears not of sorrow, but of connection. "Rose," he said softly, "where did you learn that song?" Rose continued looking out at the sea. "From no one, Papa. The wind just told me." Little Thomas smiled. He knew. True love never died. It only changed shape. Sarah's voice, passing through Emily's heart, now reached his daughter on the wings of the wind. The wave of eternity. Instead of returning to his family's grave, Captain Thomas Grant's grandson steered his ship out to sea that evening. He sailed away from Venice toward the deep blue waters. His daughter, Rose, fell asleep on the deck. Thomas stood alone at the helm. He closed his eyes and listened to the sound of the sea, the waves crashing against the ship, the sails snapping in the wind. In that moment, he was not alone. The sea seemed to whisper, "We are here, son. We have always been here." In those waves, he felt the patience and strength of his father, Thomas. In that blowing wind, he heard the joy of his mother, Emily, and the happiness of being found again. And in that unknown, ancient lullaby, he found the protective love of his great-grandmother, Sarah, whom he had never met. The legacy of Captain Thomas Grant sailed on the starfish, navigating the blue waters of the Mediterranean with every new day. 3 generations, 1 heart.